The life and reign of King Henry V, warrior king and national hero. King Henry V of England, 1386 to 1422, stands as one of the most iconic monarchs in British history, renowned for his military exploits and for embodying the ideal of the chivalric warrior king. His short reign, 1413 to 1422, was marked by significant military victories in the Hundred Years' War, most famously the Battle of Agincourt, and by efforts to secure long-lasting peace between England and France. This blog post will delve into the key events of Henry V's life, exploring his early years, his rise to power, his triumphs on the battlefield, and his legacy as one of England's greatest rulers. Henry was born in 1386 or 1387, the eldest son of Henry Bolingbroke, later King Henry IV, and Mary de Bohun. His birthplace is often identified as Monmouth Castle, which earned him the moniker Henry of Monmouth. As a descendant of both Edward III and Edward I, Henry had royal blood from both sides of his family. His upbringing was shaped by the political turbulence of the late 14th century, especially the power struggles that would eventually lead his father to depose Richard II and seize the throne in 1399. From a young age, Henry was exposed to military life and politics. His education was comprehensive, blending the study of history, languages, and religion with martial training. He learned about leadership, governance, and warfare, skills that would define his reign. Additionally, Henry's experience as a teenager during his father's reign contributed significantly to his development. In 1403, at the age of just 16, he fought in the Battle of Shrewsbury, where he was struck by an arrow to the face, an injury from which he miraculously recovered. The young prince emerged from this event with a hardened sense of military duty and a reputation for personal bravery. The reign of Henry IV was marred by internal dissent and rebellion. As heir to the throne, Henry, often referred to as Prince Hal, played a key role in the campaigns against the Welsh rebellion, led by Owain Glyndwr, and the numerous uprisings led by powerful English lords such as Henry Percy, known as Hotspur. The relationship between Henry IV and Prince Hal, however, was often strained. Contemporary chronicles suggest that young Henry was associated with unruly behavior and excessive company with commoners, an image famously immortalized in Shakespeare's plays, though historians often debate how accurate this characterization truly is. Despite any personal discord, by the time of his father's death in 1413, Henry had become an experienced soldier and a politically astute leader. His father's declining health and inability to manage the challenges of kingship had in many ways prepared Henry for the crown. Ascending to the throne, the early years, 1413, 1415. Henry V ascended the throne on March 20th, 1413, and immediately set out to consolidate his authority. One of his first acts as king was to address the ongoing religious controversy surrounding the Lollards, a group of reformists who sought changes to the church. Henry acted swiftly against them, particularly targeting Sir John Oldcastle, a former ally turned Lollard leader. Oldcastle's eventual execution sent a clear message of Henry's determination to uphold religious orthodoxy. The early years of his reign were also marked by attempts to secure domestic peace and settle old political grievances. Henry made peace with former enemies of his father's reign, including the powerful Percy family, who had once rebelled against Henry IV. This policy of conciliation helped stabilize England internally, allowing Henry to focus on his more ambitious plans abroad. The Hundred Years' War and the Agincourt Campaign. Henry's reign is most remembered for his military campaigns in France, part of the ongoing Hundred Years' War, 1337–1453. His goal was not only to reclaim lands lost during previous conflicts, but also to assert his claim to the French throne, a claim derived from his great-grandfather, Edward III. In 1415, Henry embarked on his first major campaign in France, culminating in the famous Battle of Agincourt on October 25th. This battle would cement Henry V's reputation as one of history's greatest military leaders. The Battle of Agincourt occurred during Henry's campaign to recover English territories in Normandy. Despite being vastly outnumbered by French forces, Henry led his army to a decisive and legendary victory. The English army, comprised largely of longbowmen, used the terrain and innovative tactics to great effect. The muddy battlefield, combined with the narrow approach of the French forces, created chaos among the heavily armored French knights, who became easy targets for the English archers. Henry's leadership during the battle was exemplary. He fought alongside his men, reportedly declaring, "We few, we happy few, we band of brothers," as recounted in Shakespeare's Henry V. The French losses were staggering, with estimates suggesting between 6,000 and 10,000 French soldiers killed compared to just a few hundred English casualties. This victory not only boosted Henry's prestige, but also left the French nobility demoralized and divided. Following Agincourt, Henry continued his campaigns in France with the goal of forcing a settlement. By 1419, his forces had captured significant French territories, including Normandy and Rouen. These victories paved the way for the signing of the Treaty of Troyes in 1420, a momentous achievement in Henry's foreign policy. The Treaty of Troyes recognized Henry as the heir to the French throne, and he was betrothed to Catherine of Valois, the daughter of the French king Charles X. This agreement effectively disinherited Charles VI's son, the Dauphin, later Charles VII, and gave Henry and his descendants the legal right to the French crown. Henry was named Regent of France, and in 1421 he entered Paris triumphantly. Henry's position as both King of England and heir to the French throne appeared to fulfill his grand vision of a dual monarchy that united England and France under one rule. His marriage to Catherine of Valois further cemented this claim, and the birth of their son, Henry VI, was seen as the future embodiment of this Anglo-French union. Despite his successes, Henry's triumph was cut short by his untimely death. In 1422, while campaigning to defend his newly won territories in France, Henry contracted dysentery. After months of illness, he died at the Château de Vincennes, near Paris, on August 31, 1422, at the age of 35. His death came at a crucial moment. While he had achieved many of his military and diplomatic goals, the long-term stability of the Anglo-French Union was far from secure. Henry's infant son, Henry VI, succeeded him, but his reign would be troubled and marked by civil war in England, the Wars of the Roses, and the eventual loss of French territories. Henry V's legacy is one of military brilliance, national pride, and personal charisma. His reign, though brief, had a profound impact on England's national consciousness. His victories in the Hundred Years' War, particularly at Agincourt, became legendary, contributing to the development of a strong sense of English identity. Henry was also seen as an exemplar of kingship, ruthless when necessary, but fair and just in his governance. His efforts to consolidate power, maintain peace at home, and achieve dominance in France made him one of the most successful medieval English kings. However, Henry's untimely death left his ambitions unfulfilled. While he laid the groundwork for an Anglo-French empire, The premature end of his reign, followed by the weak leadership of his son, meant that these gains were eventually lost. In the centuries that followed, Henry's life became a subject of fascination for historians, writers, and playwrights. William Shakespeare's Henry V immortalized his character, celebrating his military genius and leadership qualities. In the play, Henry V is presented as a king who embodies the ideal ruler, a man of courage, honor, and humility, capable of inspiring loyalty and forging a united kingdom. Henry V's reign, though brief, was marked by incredible military successes, shrewd diplomacy, and efforts to unify England and France. He remains a towering figure in English history, remembered as a king who not only won battles, but also embodied the ideal of a warrior king. His achievements on the battlefield, especially at Agincourt, became a source of national pride, and his legacy continues to inspire and captivate centuries after his death. Henry V was, in every sense, a king of his time, a monarch whose ambitions stretched across nations and whose life left an indelible mark on English history.